guys, UK's Mike James bringing you the True Patriot tank support build. This is one of the builds using the Group DZ PvP composition I posted. I'll leave a link to that in the description. I've always liked using True Patriot as it's been one of the few sets in the game to actually buff the team. The True Patriot gear set has 3 different flags. One of them gives extra damage to enemies when marked. That's the red flag, I remember that with red for blood. The blue flag reduces the enemy's damage done towards you, and I'm sure everyone who remembers the True Patriot Pestilence meta knows that the white flag gives you armor. When all flags are active on a single target, this causes a 5-meter explosion equal to the target's armor. This can be incredibly useful when you follow the team into a doorway or something. You can argue it's cheesy, but the enemy players can see that the True Patriot debuffs are on them, so it's on them if they stand next to a group. As for the build, we've obviously got 4 pieces of True Patriot, using the backpack for the increased buff from the flags. Most importantly, this increases the blue and red from 8 to 12%. Now that's total weapon damage, so it's actually quite strong. For the chest piece, we're using Pointman. This has the perfect version of Vanguard, giving extra armor than the normal version. This only comes on Gillar Guard, which actually works perfectly as you want your armor to be as up as much as possible to give a better buff than Vanguard. So to start off with the True Patriot mask, I prefer crit here and all of the rolls, but this is what I have, I'm not farming anymore. This build isn't the main damage dealer in the group, so these bad rolls aren't the be all and end all. All of my mods are income repairs as I'm playing a tanky build, so it helps push more out of my team's heals. Crit mods here would also be fine. Got True Patriot gloves, True Patriot knees, awful rolls again, but at least I'm pushing my armor higher to get more from Vanguard. For the holster, we've got the Claws Out holster. This gives 500% melee damage. Combine that with the Firewall shield buff, the Lady Death melee damage, and all the other buffs, you can melee for like 600k in armor. This can be considered cheesy, just like everything else, however I think it's a good deterrent for players that are getting too close. You could also use the Forge holster or the Motherly Love gloves for the shield health, get a bit of income repairs with piece of R&K. You could also run something for damage like Sokolov, Fenris, or Foxes, or Contractors, as long as you're rolling for armor. The main parts of this build are the Perfect Vanguard and the True Patriot buffs. There are other ways to build it. For example, you could use Protector, which gives more bonus armor for the squad, or Opportunistic Backpack for the damage, as I mentioned before. Now, as for the skills, it goes without saying here that a shield is necessary to proc Vanguard. Now, I made this group composition to be anti-meta. None of the other players in the team would be running shields. So you have the option to only whip out the shield to proc Vanguard and put it back again, or you could just use it like a normal player would, as it's there to use and there could be 8 other shields against you with your group only having the one. The shield I've gone for is the Firewall shield for the extra damage buffs that it gives to the group. It still allows me to use an AR or an SMG, and it's fairly tanky with the 2-second immunity and the 6 blues buffing the shield's health. You could go for a different shield of your choice, freeing you up to change the specialization to allow for something that gives damage buffs like Demolitioners. My other skill, which might come as a shock, is the Revive Hive. Not a usual choice for PvP, but in this setup it does have its uses. As one of the tankiest players in the group, and the fact this build uses a shield, in theory this build should go down the least. If a team member goes down, all I have to do is drop my hive on the ground, so I don't need to manually revive a teammate. Lots of PvP players complain about the inability to effectively revive teammates in PvP, especially Division 1 players who could use the defib that allowed for instant revives. Comparing the 2 games, however, the defib was used for both reviving and healing, so there's a chance your skill could be on cooldown when a teammate was down. However, the Revive Hive will only be on cooldown if you already used it to revive someone. The defib couldn't be used when on fire, but the Revive Hive can. Also in Division 2, when a rogue is in the down state, they lose their rogue symbol, meaning you're much less of a target than a down rogue was in Division 1, giving you more time for a revive. The True Patriot is going to be the shot call of the group. They have to concentrate less on the other 2 support players, and they won't get tunnel vision like the damage player, as they won't be dealing with much damage. As a shot caller, they dictate where to move, who to focus, when to push or pull back, and so on. Hope you like the video. I'll leave a little bit more gameplay now for you to see it in action. Enjoy!